Good evening, welcome back to my garden. I am going to do a little project and take you along with me. But first I wanted to point out something I missed in my garden tour the other day. In front of my sweet peas here, we have some nasturtium flowers, and these are my favorite because last year they bushed all the way out here and started getting into my walkway, and they were just so pretty and I love them. But I forgot to point them out because they were under baskets. And I got my plant labels all cleaned up. I have to take them inside and wash them at some point, but I probably won't soon. Yesterday I came out here and I got my mesh up over my things that I had put up the other day. This piece was just the perfect length to come all the way over here, so even though these don't need to be covered up, eventually there'll be something behind them that does. I will probably do kohlrabi or something, but I got these covered up so that hopefully those little chewed on ones can come back to life. And it won't hurt the peppers to be covered, so, I mean, why not? I'll come over here to my project I have to do. Oh, there's a moth stuck in there. I opened this one up because I noticed that there were bugs stuck inside of it, and I didn't want to have them all stuck in there and not able to come back out. And there's nothing planted in there except for that watermelon, which I also neglected to point out in the garden tour. This is my plant. Sorry, my AC unit kicked on again. You're gonna have to get used to that. It's Arizona. My watermelon plant that gave me 2 watermelons before, and this one is a couple weeks away from giving me a 3rd one, and then we can just rip that out and I'll put in all of my yummy brassicas there. I'm gonna go see if I can find my tool that I need. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry, it is so loud over here, but I just came to grab my choppers and I found my first sweet potato flower, and look how sweet and pretty she is. I'm so glad I didn't harvest these yet. They've got a couple more weeks. Oh, and there's a bunch of buds up here. Oh, that's gonna be so pretty. That makes me happy. All right, let's go chop down some corn. Try out my new tripod and see if you guys can watch me chop down some corn. Okay, before I start, I want to talk a little bit about corn and why this sucked, because I didn't do what I was supposed to do. Last year, let's see, spring of 2024, I planted corn over on this side, and I did everything right, and I got a really good harvest of sweet corn. It was delicious in this spot, pointing with my tool, this bed. And I did not do that this time. It did not come out right. So what I did wrong was, corn is a heavy feeder. It needs to be fertilized every week with high nitrogen, so fish emulsion is what I would use. And I didn't do that. I did that like 3 times, probably within a month and a half, 2 months time. And then once it starts forming these tassels on top, that's when you switch over to a fruit and flower, less nitrogen, more magnesium and phosphorus fertilizer. And I didn't do that at all. So that's what helps it form the corn itself. So I didn't do that, and I didn't get any corns. If I get any off of these stalks, I will come show you, because they're bound to be hilarious. So I'm just gonna go in there and chop some stuff down. All right. Hi. Get my choppers down here and try not to chop up my watering system. So just throw those over there. Oh, there's a corn on here. Let's see what we have. Oh, that one's not the worst. I have seen worse. I can remember what variety of corn this was. I'll put it in the description, but I might actually be able to eat that one. It's not just a yellow corn, but it is a sweet corn. I'll keep that. Normally I'd put it in my pocket, but I don't have any pockets. Put it right there. Another corn. This one's itty bitty. I can feel there's only like a couple of bumps. See? Not even worth saving. This one doesn't feel like it even has anything in it, so we'll see. Nope. Yeah, there's nothing there. All right, I got that all cleaned out. I moved the bucket that was over here. It's a 5-gallon bucket with cement in it that has a pole in it that I use for my shade cloth setup. But I found a fallen sunflower that I tried to remove, but it's all intertwined with the asparagus, so I left it. And then I also remembered, or found, I guess, realized that I had a rosemary back there, and he is about 99% dead. So I'm just going to leave it there because I don't need that space. I'm just going to plant it in this square right here. I pulled out the irrigation. I broke a couple pieces of it, I think, so I'm going to have to do something about that. But for now, I'm going to go grab the cage that is going to go here, which is currently over there. And then I have to go check on my kids, make sure they're not fighting, and then I will come out here and cover this spot with compost from my compost bin. And then I will bring you back for potato planting over here. Oh, and really quick while I have you here, remember in my garden tour I said that these bushes right here were Edgevarsky and Big Jim. Well, I came out here after that to do pick some of the red ones, and I moved the plant and realized this Edgevarsky stick is just this plant. So these few on here are Edgevarsky. And then there is another Edgevarsky, looks like. And then there's a blot over here. So it's 3 little tiny plants. And then back here is a separate pole. I put one of these in each of my new plants when I planted them. And that is completely separate from that. So this whole big clump here, sorry, bad angle. This whole big tall clump are 2 different Big Jim peppers. The variety is Big Jim. And they are mostly not spicy, but they can have a little hint of heat in them. The ones that I've tried, like 1 out of 5 have had a little bit of spice. But they're going to be my, they're going to be my paprika powder. Ew, something's eating that pepper. Rude. Oh, got a funny looking one there. All right, yeah, sidetracked, sorry. Back to potatoes. All right, I busted open my compost pile and kind of spilled everywhere, but that's okay because we're outside, it's allowed to be dirty. I filled up this bucket here twice, and I carried it over here, and I laid out some beautiful compost. I didn't sift it or anything. I don't care about sticks or whatever, because I'm just going to put the potatoes right on top of the dirt, and then I'm going to cover them with a really thick layer of straw so they can grow. They'll use the compost for nutrients, and they will grow up through the straw, and it'll be easier for harvest later. But I need to measure how big my cage over there is, because that's going to go over top of them so that the birds and the rats don't eat them. Because like I have mentioned in my other video, we have roof rats here. They like to eat my stuff. They like to eat my citrus. They like to eat my melons. And I don't want them to eat my potatoes. So I'm going to measure this size, and then I'm going to bring out my potatoes. All right, I brought out my potatoes that were ready to go out 5 years ago or something like that. And I got my bucket of straw. That is Easy Straw from Tractor Supply, and I left it out in the rain, so I really need to use it before it gets all moldy. So this will be a good task for that. And my ingenious little measuring trick was to just put the cage down on the dirt and push down really hard. So I have a mix here of organic yellow potatoes from the grocery store and 2 other varieties that I'm not going to remember. So I'll put them in the comments. But I'm going to plant them with the part that has the most sprouts sticking up. And really, that's probably too much for one plant, but you know, we're going to do it and see what happens. So just nestle them into the soil a little bit. And I'll break off one of these ones and see how that, just take that off. And see how that plant does without 500 eyes coming out. Put a couple at the back. This one's pretty mushy, so it might not amount to much, but it'll amount to nothing if I don't try. Oh, these are going to be the perfect for this space. That one's got 3 eyes on it, so I'm going to do these 2 further apart. Not burying them, just give them a little bit of cuddling into the dirt. All right, stick you there. We got 2 more. Put one there. And this little guy, I'm getting eaten by a mosquito. Sorry about that. I had to smack my arm because a mosquito was eating me. I'll put that little guy down there a little bit deeper since he's got some taller plants already. All right. So I can remember for myself, I planted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 potatoes in here. And now I will cover them with straw, which I need 2 hands for, so give me a minute. Miracle of television, ta-da! It's covered and perfect. This cage is tall enough that I won't have to take it out. They can just grow in there the whole time. Hopefully keep the varmints off. I gave it a good several inches in there. It's my version, I guess, of the Ruth Stout method of growing potatoes, which is stick them on the ground, cover them with straw. I put a bunch of the extra straw over in this bed that I haven't planted in yet. I have some starts and some seeds that need to go in there, but I wanted to get the wet stuff off, and then the dry stuff is still in here. It's not supposed to rain anymore after the 5 inches we got over the weekend, so that will be fine. That is done. Dinner's in the crock pot, so I just get to go inside and relax. Bye.